We have one more series to talk about here from the qualifiers before I get into what I think is going to happen in the first round. I don't know if I can call it the most interesting series, but it might be the most surprising. I mean, there were a lot of interesting and surprising for qualifying rounds here. Chicago beating Edmonton in 4. Nothing about this necessarily makes sense to me. And I think people know what I mean by that, because Chicago, again, the bottom seed in the West. You got no business being there. And you make the most of it. Jonathan Toews steps back up and does what Jonathan Toews does. Obviously, Kirby Dach, if he can stay healthy already at 19 years old, he's a difference maker. They get Artemi Panarin 2.0 and Dominic Kubalik, who's been amazing. Add that with Strome, DeBrincat, and if Alex Nylander can keep doing well, just despite Buffalo Sabres fans. That offense is still capable. Defensively, obviously, you look more towards the future with the likes of Badan and Boqvist. But Duncan Keith has rolled back the clock 10 years. And then it comes down to Corey Crawford, who is still a fantastic goaltender when he plays, but the issue is he going to play? And then heading into the qualifier, it's, it turns out Corey Crawford suffered from COVID. He ends up playing. He doesn't play well at all. Yet, they still win. Because that is how hockey works. It doesn't make sense. In terms of hey, that was some good analysis and really in-depth viewpoint, I got nothing for this. Nothing. Because it does not make any sense whatsoever that this team was able to do what this team did. But that's that's the beauty, the glory of hockey, is that any given moment any team can win, right? In theory. For Edmonton, is it fair to call it a disaster for Edmonton when we've seen true disasters in Edmonton? Nail Yakupov, so many other moments. It's just another disaster, I would say, for the Oilers where, who knows what would have happened if this team got to continue on from March. You still have McDavid and Draisaitl at this ridiculous pace. You added at the deadline to bring in the likes of Athanasiou and other guys, Tyler Ennis, of course, who ended up getting hurt, to try and boost up this team. Kailer Yamamoto really starts to emerge this season, and it just wasn't enough. The supporting cast still is not where it needs to be. It just flat out isn't. And, of course, you end up signing Zach Kassian to an extension. So, how'd Kassian do in the playoffs? Oh, no points in 4 games. And, he's getting a contract extension. Good call. He'll end up winning the Conn Smythe in 3 years, just to spite me. Don't worry. Supporting cast is not where it needs to be. Defensively, it's getting there. I don't hate Clefbaum now that, you look at the fact that he was playing injured essentially for 2 seasons. The defense is okay. I think the issue is with Mike Green. It's okay, you're never healthy. You're good normally, kind of. You still put up points at least. They're still not where they need to be. I think bottom line, what it comes down to is coaching. And I do believe that Dave Tippett absolutely screwed over his team. Because you go into game 1 on your home ice in the bubble, and you throw out Mike Smith. And despite the fact that you ended up making that game relatively close, you gave the Chicago Blackhawks confidence that they might not have had otherwise. I view it as kind of a Tampa-Columbus situation, where Tampa, you're up 3-0 last year in game 1, you blow it, and instead of doing what you needed to do to put Columbus down and keep them down, you gave them a glimmer of hope. And they took advantage of it. And then you look at Chicago, and they took advantage of it. Mikko Koskinen wasn't great either. Bottom line, Dave Tippett throwing Mike Smith out there for that first game, I think cost the Edmonton Oilers. Aside from the fact that you can look at the roster and say it might not be good enough in certain areas, I think coaching absolutely screwed over the Oilers. So, and at the end of the day, too, I don't quite understand. I mean, Mike Smith was rocking a 902, Koskinen a 917. So unless there's something that I don't know, like if Koskinen was hurt, I don't really know what you're doing making that decision, especially, too, because Koskinen is your big money goaltender. Mike Smith has a history in the playoffs. I mean, does he? He has history in the playoffs from 2012, and he was okay last year for Calgary when they lost in the first round, mind you. This was the history you were banking on. This was it. 3 appearances in 2010, 2011 before losing that spot to Dwayne Rolison. A miracle run with the Coyotes in 2012. I graduated high school in 2012. That was a long time ago. And then you look here, last year, it's like, oh, it was really good in 5 games. Edmonton, you blew it. You blew it. I don't know what to tell you.